Hi, it's Lady Lex UK, and this is Wonderland Attacks behind the scenes. As you can see, we're in edit mode here, and you can see my build of Alice World, which, let's look at it from above. As you can see, is built using a lot of frames here that I made using the computer terminals, and I'm just going to show you a few of the brains that I've created and how I did it. Go and play the walkthrough so you can see the game first, so you'll know what I'm talking about. The first thing that I'm going to show you is my three main cubes here now, or four actually. We have music, a debug cube, and a respawn engine, and my master sound block. Now the reason I have this master sound block is because sometimes you have to mute certain characters, or they get destroyed before the sound gets played. So I use a master sound block here to play some of the sounds that I need that cannot be put in the character itself. Now there is a bug for first-person shooters which creates phantom footstep noises plus dust comes up from the ground in front of you, which is no good. And in order to counteract that, I have to fire the gun. Now firing the gun stops the effect, but I don't want, in the first person shooter, I don't want the gun firing all the time. So instead I have them firing a logic cube just to stop the phantom footsteps, but obviously it makes a noise and I don't want that noise. So I've made my character silent, and all the sound happens in my master sound block. So if we look in here, when you fire a gunshot, then it plays the laser rifle, and when the gun is empty and you reload, then we have a reload sound. Oh no, that's the reload sound. This is a if the gun is empty and you're trying to fire noise, and this is the sound of the footsteps when the player is moving, and this is my ambient noise. I've turned it off on the master and put it here so I can make the volume slightly less. Okay, so that's my sound cube, and that works rather well. This is my debug cube. Every scene in my game can be turned off for debug purposes, so that I can run through the game and not have to encounter all of the enemies while I'm building different scenes. So if the scene is turned off, I can turn it off here. So turn the scene off or on. So this is scene one is on at the moment, so turn it off, I turn that to true, and scene one will no longer play. And I can also turn the cutscene off. At the moment it's set on true. If I was to set that to false, then it wouldn't play the cutscene. I've also got a debug thing here. I wanted to know whether the sprint was working, so I displayed the ground speed to see if that was actually increasing down speed or not. It was. It was good. So I don't need to display all the time for the game, so I just put in an ignore line there. But I could put any sort of display in this box and not worry about it messing up a bit later on. I can turn it off. This is my respawn engine. I'll show you quickly how this works. I've got various logic cubes where I want the player to respawn. Once my character is dead, I set a boolean to dying is true, and then I fade out. And then if the global respawn point is 1, then my respawn position is logic cube respawn 1, and then I turn my character towards north for that particular spawn cube. If you look at respawn point 3, because we've turned, he's equal to south. He's facing south when he spawns. So that's my respawn cube. So once you've respawned and moved him to the position, then you revive him and you increment his deaths by 1, which affects the score. And for a countdown timer of 8, he is invulnerable, and then dying equals false. So he's invulnerable up until this point, and then he's vulnerable again, and he's no longer dying, and that's reset. So that's how I've done the cubes. Let me just show you a respawn cube. Oh, actually, it's in here. Whoops. There's my respawn cube. There's nothing in that. It's just a completely empty logic cube. That is just a respawning position. Okay, so when you play the game, every time you run into an area, it starts a timer. Now, this timer is worked out a trigger sensor here in the doorway. So when you run through, this is my timer, and this timer is set off. I've got it set so that if I've turned the global scene 1 off for my debug purposes, it doesn't activate this brain, so that I don't have to worry about the timer going off. But otherwise, when the player's in the trigger zone, I start a timer. I set the respawn point to be the one for the scene, and then I turn on my spawning cube or whatever I use. In this case, I used a flower, and then I set the timer on. So I use various number variables to do the cubes. If you're interested in this particular setup, I am going to be writing up a lot of the tutorials in this game on my website, which is schoolofcode.wordpress.com, and all of these brains that are useful to you will be available. So don't worry about not working out now what I'm doing. I will be writing them all out. Anyway, when the timer is on, then it displays a bonus time, and it displays the minutes and the seconds, and then when the time runs out, it just says no bonus, and they get no bonus time added to their score. Over here is my respawning cube, and this spawns my enemies in a circle radius, and it says if the wave is the first wave 0 or is a wave that's a 1 or a 3 or a 5, then and there's less than 1 flower, then switch to page 2, and on page 2 I've got my blue flowers are being created here. Now you'll notice that it's a goblin. Now the interesting thing about this, I built it on a key as my base, so it would bounce backwards and forwards, but I discovered that in combat the key is completely useless and doesn't actually inflict any sort of damage whatsoever because it's got no arms. So although I had it armed with this rather lethal chainsaw, it wasn't actually inflicting any damage on my character whatsoever, even though it looked as if it was. So I had to attach it to a goblin and have that causing all the damage instead. He is still attached to the key, so that he's attached to a key attached to a goblin, and it moves quite interestingly, and it doesn't look like a goblin. and obviously I've made the goblin sounds as quiet as possible so you don't hear the goblin noises, because that would spoil the effect, because the goblin is very distinctive. He sort of grunts when he fights. The snapdragon flower, that's based on the money. Unfortunately, when it dies, the money sort of spreads cash about. There's nothing I could do about that. That's an animation that's built into the character. I just had to accept that there was nothing I could do about it and pretend they were leaves rather than money. But what can you do? Over here is the gate. Now this gate will not open until you've killed all of the enemies and your score has come up, and this is the score. Now you'll notice that it says call page 2. The reason for this is because we're making this a player character, this door, by putting an A button press in the code so that you can progress. So in order to stop the flowers from attacking the gate, I put call page 2 in and put all my code on the second page. Works really well. So what it says here is if the flower spawner has got to wave 6 and there are no more flowers in existence, or we've turned the global scene off, then open the door and then turn the timer off on the timer, and then work out your score. So you have a kill score, which is however many flower kills you've made times by 10, and the bonus score is the number of flower kills multiplied by the bonus time divided by 10, and the total round score is the bonus score plus the kill score, and then you've got the total score, which is the total score plus the round score. It then displays all of that on screen like this, and with an A button, so that when the A button is pressed, it will display the score and open the door for you. So if we go into this round, you'll see that there's the Mad Hatter boss. I based his brain on the necromancer that throws zombies out. So instead he's throwing hats, and it's pretty much the same brain, except he's holding a lucky hat instead of a skull, and he's creating hats and throwing out hats instead of anything else. So there's your necromancer, and this is a void fiend with a hat on. It worked really rather well. I thought they looked quite menacing. So there's a cute little thing. We've got some food here that you can eat to restore some of your health. And there's my round 2 timer there. So that was exactly the same as the one in the other room. And I'll just show you this. This is an emergency ammo crate. The gun has limited ammo and limited ammo packs. So you start with 10 ammo packs, which has 10 bullets, and you can have 10 bullets in your gun every time you reload. You can have up to 20 bullets in your gun at any one time. Once you have got down to no bullets and no packs left, this will activate an emergency ammo crate. Now the animals, the minions here, they will drop ammo when they die on a random 50-50 basis. So 50% of the time they'll drop ammo. So if you're a particularly bad shot, it could turn up that you've used up all your ammo and you've picked up all the ammo that's available, and you've still got them coming after you and you've got no way to reload your gun. This is an emergency situation. This ammo crate will then activate and become available to you, so that you've always got a situation where you can reload your gun. And this door obviously works the same as the other. So we'll move through once it's... Yep, okay. And in here we have the cafe, and we have a vending machine. I'll just quickly show you this. So this takes all these bottles of drink and when you interact with it, it increments your health and then takes away a random bottle out of the machine. And when the machine is empty, it then turns the machine off, so you can't pick up any more bottles. It's quite a simple little vending machine, but I think quite effective, quite nice. So that's that one. Here we have our heart guards and our club guards, and there is the flamingo that the club guard is brandishing. I don't know if you know your Alice in Wonderland, but this is a croquet match, and they were playing with flamingos as clubs, and so he's going to whack you around the head with the flamingo if he can get his hands on you. You can see his leg is actually a sword that he's got in his hand, and he just waves that at you. Again, you have a spawn cube here and a timer, and so the timer starts when it hits the trigger zone, and we have these on waves. I've based these on, let's see, the heart guard is melee and ranged base with a few slight alterations. The main alteration being its movement, if I can find it. Here we go. Right. When he detects you, he has an action of 1 to 3 as a random thing. So 1, he'll move towards you and shoot at you. 2, he'll move strafing to the right, and 3, he'll move strafing to the left. That works out quite well. So he sometimes he'll shoot at you, sometimes he'll run left and right. It looks quite good, actually. It works quite well, and it makes them all do different things and space themselves out around the area. So I was quite pleased with that. Sort of a Destiny-esque type of movement, and if they had things to hide behind, they would effectively hide behind things by strafing left and right. If we go up here again, we have our respawn cube on our timer. This is our queen here, and she throws jam tarts at you. Her brain works like this. She has a necromancer brain, and once she's thrown out 10 of these jam tarts, she then calls it this brain, which allows her to attack you. She's invulnerable to attack until she's using this brain. And then again, when 10 packs, we go back again to the necromancer brain until she's thrown out another 10 jam tarts, and then she'll come attack you again. So this is her castle. If you were to go up the stairs, there's just some jam tarts there, cooling as per the story. In here, and you can't see it because it's under the ground until you actually activate. Here is my Cheshire Cat. I'm not overly pleased with it. I didn't really do much with it. I thought I could have it attacking. I thought, oh, you've been attacked enough. Let's just have it doing its animatronic thing, and you have a little bit of respite from being attacked. So you go through the door, and Alice waves you goodbye, and if you look out the window, you can see your spaceship is out there, and you've got another chance to get some health, and then you go through the security door down the tunnel and into the main security office, where when you try to turn the computers off, you are greeted by the White Rabbit, who throws these evil clocks at you, which will explode in your face. Of quite pleased with this this boss and the look of this. What I was amazed about is he stands here, and if you stand this side, he'll throw clocks and they'll jump over this console, which I didn't realise, which was just fantastic. That looks really good when them jumping over the top. Whoops, we've got a stray gear in the air there. So once you've killed the White Rabbit boss and you've activated all of these, then you can open the door. And so I'll go down the corridor, back to the door. Woo! And in the door brain, it gives you your total score, which is your total score minus 100 points for every 100 points for every salvage you collected, minus 100 points for every time you died, and it will give you your score. And then it will activate this logic cube, which is the game over. I used the game over on timer and just had it play a little bit of music, had a 10 countdown, and then a game over. And that is about it. Now there's various interesting things in this. I didn't show you my music cube. The music cube plays different music for different rounds. So if the round 1 timer is on, or the round 3 timer is on, and it plays this music, round 2 timer, round 4 timer, this music, round 5 timer, this music. So when you're fighting and the timers are on, it will play battle music. Otherwise, you're just walking through in silence with the ambient noise only. So that is about it. Like I said, I'm going to be writing up some of the useful parts of this, like how to do a respawn cube, how to do the music. Most of it is already in my website, but I will just do a write-up of all the things that are in here and where to find the code for these different brains, and how to do the reload on the gun with the ammo packs, and how to counteract the phantom footsteps bug. So I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Please visit schoolofcode.wordpress.com for more information about how to code on Project Spark, and I'd love to see your creations. Please put in the comments if you have any Let's Plays of any Project Spark games that you've made after closed down. So that's any after August 2016, because people can still play it. Let's see what people can create. Even though you can't actually share the games to play, we can still share them by video. So thank you and keep on sparking.